It's the Fellowship of the Geek Show, a weekly podcast about comics, the comic book industry, and other geek pop culture. Music courtesy of Manny the Martyr. And now, on with the show!
Hey there, everybody. It's the Fellowship of the Geeks podcast. My name's Thomas Chick, and joining me for this episode is Mike Marlowe.
Hey, gang.
Les Webster. Hello. And Liz Newman.
Hello, everybody.
I don't know why I screwed up there, but I did. I'm sorry. Hopefully that's not a sign of things to come. How are you guys doing?
Oh, gosh.
Mm.
Just peachy.
Doing well.
Great.
Hope everybody's doing okay out there. So what's been going on in your corner of the galaxy?
So believable, Liz. So believable.
I try.
I believed it, Liz.
I'm alive.
We're on the correct side of the dirt. That is a win.
That's always a plus. Yep. Well, I had a lot of downtime last week, so I did get a few things watched. I didn't know, which I'm surprised has totally snuck up on me, but Invincible season 3 started, and I found out the day it came out. But it was like, damn, how did I not know this? I'm slipping.
Did they not pub it?
Not really. And, you know, Prime normally, pumps that at you a good month before it happens, but...
That's surprising.
You know.
They didn't.
But I had seen an interview with Kirkman, and it was kind of like, oh, hey, you know, and then he was talking about, it came out today, and it was like, damn. Well, I'm glad I saw that interview, because I didn't know. I will say... I know last season I had a big problem with it. It was kind of slow moving. God, we waited too freaking long for that season to get what we did. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great, especially after the first season. 3 episodes in, because they dropped 3. I'm actually liking this season better than the last season. So I'm glad I stuck it out. So if you gave up on it, give it one more try, and it's turning out pretty good. Now, like I said, we're only 3 episodes in, but it's definitely moving at a better pace than last season. But last season, we had the pandemic that interrupted it, and we also had the strikes that interrupted it. So they kind of waited 2 years and gave us half the season. Then we waited, another year and got the last half. I'm exaggerating the times, but it was a while.
Not by much, right.
A while. You know, even to the point that they made jokes about it in the season. So, you know, even they knew it was pretty bad. But hopefully he says this season's already done. I think it's just going to be the normal 8 that they've been doing. So, off to a good start. But another one I didn't know about that I was kind of surprised until, I guess it's too late now, Bruce Campbell is doing one called Hysteria. Well, he was doing one. It was canceled. But I saw an article on, I think it was Slasher that I was reading it on. But they were saying it was canceled. But it was a really good season, and if you hadn't seen it yet, and it was like, well, damn, I hadn't even heard about it yet. I don't know if my algorithm just has Bruce Campbell pushed down, or he just didn't talk about this one very much. So I did go over there, and I watched that one. I think it's on Peacock. I think it is Peacock. It's either Peacock or Paramount, but whichever one it is, and it's exclusive to them, or an original. I'm wanting to say it's Peacock, though. I liked it. I'm kind of sad that they canceled it, you know, because 1, I didn't hear about it until it was canceled, but 2, it's a really good show. It's set back in, I'm wanting to say the 80s. Remember the big satanic panic that happened and people were, blaming music, and I think Ozzy was on trial, and, just a bunch of shit was happening with, the satanic culture. If you listened to, Motley Crue shout at the devil, you were satanic. Oh my God, lock you up. Well, this kind of taps into that. These kids come up missing, and this like high school band decides, well, the first thing when the kids go missing is they blame Satanists. So these kids are like, well, we could make our band Satanists, and that's kind of where it all takes off. By the end of it, they're making a cult, not meaning to. He's just trying to impress a girl. But cute story. I think Bruce Campbell is a cop on this, and he's like one of the cult members' grandfather. So that was kind of weird. And if it did come back, Bruce is growing up on us.
He is.
But like I said, it was really good, and whoever did the soundtrack for that nailed it. Because I think it was 85 when this took place. So you can imagine the metal that they used from 85, just down to even the theme song for this show is just
So much
freaking
hairspray.
badass.
Oh my God.
Yeah, a lot of Motley Crue, a lot of Black Sabbath, that kind of stuff. But I would definitely like the soundtrack from that one. But if you haven't seen it yet, like I said, it is Peacock. Great show. It's that this story is over. I can see how they could continue it on for a second season where the story would go, but it's not like it is a cliffhanger or a plot hole or, it's a perfectly one and done kind of season. So I think there may be 10 of those. It's either 10 or 8. But definitely worth a watch. Like I said, if you haven't seen it yet, Bruce Campbell is Bruce Campbell. He's can't go wrong there.
Mm.
And he definitely leaned into his part. Yeah, there's 8 episodes, but he's not a main character. I mean, he's pretty heavy in the season, but not really, if that makes sense. So it was kind of weird, in some episodes, he's just not there. So, but yeah, like I said, if you haven't seen it, watch it. Definitely a good one. That's all I really had time to watch.
If you're into 80s nostalgia.
Yeah.
Which clearly has proven that there's a market for it in the last few years. But yeah, I don't know.
I say it's hilarious.
Kind of strange, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Plus, when some of the best music came out.
Mike's leaving me hanging.
Yeah, I didn't get that one.
Stranger Things.
Oh, all right. Yeah, that was what I was hinting at. But...
Mm-hmm. Well, I was being a little bit more obvious. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't particularly want to relive the 80s, thanks. But that's just me, obviously.
Yeah. On TV shows, it's not too bad. Well,
okay.
Some of them, yeah. Like I said, this one wasn't too bad. I guess because I related to it a little bit more. When you live through that whole satanic panic,
Yeah, I remember.
And this at the end kind of lets you see if that went unchecked, what could happen, I'm glad people came to their senses before that went too crazy.
Yes, because we're all sane now.
Yeah. A little burnt, but we're good.
Okay. Well, cool. I guess that makes it my turn.
Mm-hmm.
And I went ahead and watched the second part of the Time Warp documentary that I talked about before.
Again?
The cult movies.
So we both watch cult movies.
Well, I watched a documentary about cult movies. I think that makes me less cool, though. So the second part of it is the covers sci-fi and horror. So that was fun. Let's see. Some of the movies listed would have been Evil Dead, so also Bruce Campbell. Two of us now mentioned Bruce Campbell. The rest of you are going to have to step it up.
It's up to you, Les.
Let's see what else. Clockwork Orange, not surprisingly.
Yeah.
One that did surprise me that got mentioned was The Devil's Rejects. Liz would have been in hog heaven because extensive commentary from Rob Zombie.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, no. This documentary is some real shit.
See, for some reason, I thought this was like older shows when you were talking about it last.
Well, I mean, Light of the Living Dead got brought up, as did Dawn of the Dead, for that matter. So it's some of both. I mean, the first one did list some older stuff. Some stuff. I mean, last time they mentioned Freaks. I mean, you don't get much older than that.
Yeah.
That's 32.
Sounds about right.
I believe the oldest one mentioned in this one was Night of the Living Dead, but no, but they're actually they're bringing in people. I mean, from these things. Bruce Campbell was in this documentary. Rob Zombie and Bill Moseley were in this documentary. They even talked to Sid Haig a little bit. They had some footage from some earlier stuff from George Romero from this, and talked to Tom Savini. They brought in, what was that?
He just had a birthday.
Cool, good for him. So yeah, I mean, some real deal people. They're bringing in big name people to talk about these things. It's really cool.
That sounds really good.
And they're also, I mean, there are some like movie critic type people too talking about them too, but they're actually pretty good at it, so it works out okay. We mentioned Buckaroo Banzai, and another one that I thought was interesting, a movie I've never seen, is The Brother from Another Planet.
Oh, yeah.
John Singleton? Is that who it was?
John Sayles
No, John Singleton.
wrote and directed, with Joe Morton starring in it. But yeah, having them talking to, I mean, Jeff Goldblum's been throughout kind of this whole thing. They've been using him for commentary and funny lines. But yeah, him talking about Buckaroo Banzai was pretty entertaining, let's just say. And I'm just scratching the surface. This is just what I'm remembering off the top of my head. So, and there's a third one yet to come. So, or that I haven't watched yet. It's out there. Oh, the other one that I was forgetting was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They talked to Tobe Hooper. Apparently right before he died. So it was nice because they did a little tribute to him in there after his stuff, because he was talking his contribution to this was interesting, because I mean he was clearly he clearly felt very honored by the attention that Texas Chainsaw Massacre has gotten over the years. So it was nice. It was a nice little tribute to him.
He deserves it.
Yeah.
Yep. Strangely, they did not get Ridley Scott to talk about Blade Runner. They did get Sean Young, which is always a treat. She can be really interesting in an interview, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah.
She was pretty toned down in this one, but.
And what did you say the name of this was again?
It's called Time Warp. And it's got a subtitle that is something blank. Let me see if I can. I had it pulled up. The greatest cult films of all time is the subtitle. And yeah, I mean, all three of these are on Tubi. And they're, as documentaries go, they're really good. This is a really good documentary. And they kind of pulled out all the stops.
They have it on Amazon too.
Cool. If you prefer it that way, go for it.
Yeah.
I wonder if I'd get past commercials that way.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Not necessarily, right? It depends.
Yeah, only available with ads.
Got to pay for all these big stars somehow.
Huh. That's pretty cool, though. I've got 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
I will get to 3 sometime in the near future. But yeah, that's pretty much what I got.
That's pretty cool.
You talk about Jeff Goldblum. I forgot who did it. There's a video on YouTube that was done by one of the magazines. They invited him on, and basically what they did was have him critique all the actors that was doing impersonations of him. And it's funny to watch. I'll have to find it, and we can put it in our show notes.
I have seen that on like little things on YouTube that are that for other people doing that, or they're playing impressions of them to them.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a couple of those. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, some people, obviously they're only going to show the ones for the people who react well to it.
Right.
Because otherwise it's just awkward as hell. But
oh yeah, he was in good spirits about the whole thing.
Good.
I mean, yeah. And some of the impersonations were really good. Yeah, so it was funny to watch. It's been a while since I've watched it. It just popped in my suggestions like, okay.
Right, okay, I'll bite. Let's try it.
Let's try it. And like I said, he was really, really good. He was good with it. It's like, oh, this guy,
well, I mean, you can't beat him and not realize that he comes across as awkward. I mean, you can't. You couldn't have made a career out of it if you were clueless about it. It just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
You wouldn't make it very far. So it's cool that he embraces it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of those I wouldn't mind trying to hang out with if the option came about. So I'm sure he's really cool to hang out with.
Oh, I bet.
Okay, Les.
So I've got big shoes to fill. Huh?
Yeah, what's your Bruce Campbell story?
Yeah, and with Bruce Campbell, yeah.
Yep.
Well, I went to a double feature this weekend down at the Texas Theater.
Ooh.
Ah.
And a double feature of Rock and Roll High School and what was that other one? Bubba Ho-Tep? Yeah, that was it.
Oh, you saw Bubba Ho-Tep on the screen. That's awesome.
On the big screen.
Are you for real? I thought he was kidding.
No, he was alive. He was right there with me. This was
this a Joe Bob thing?
By Joe Bob Briggs.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
I forgot about that coming.
It was quite fun. Had a good time. Went with a friend and thoroughly enjoyed it. Once again, I felt so envious of people that were there to see it for the first time. And I was trying to tell them that they will enjoy this. This is a fun movie. And they kind of took it in. Said, okay, see what we got. During the two movies, they showed Bubba first. And while they were showing that, and also while they were showing Rock and Roll High, that Briggs and his studio cohort were out in the lobby doing signings and photos and all that.
Darcy?
Yes, Darcy was there.
Damn, I really wish I had gone.
Yeah, for just a little pittance, you could have had your picture taken with them. But it was interesting. I did get my picture taken with them.
Cool.
And
we demand proof.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know
we have
that.
Discord for.
Well, you know there'd be at Frightmare. I'm seriously thinking about going this year.
Are they really?
I'm pretty sure they are. They were there last year. They were there last year.
It was fun to talk with them and to look back at some of the stuff he had done here. I remember going to see him when he was over at the one of the theaters over on Park Avenue when he showed Mars Needs Women. And that was, to me, one of the big movies for Tommy, I can't remember who it was. But it was fun just to on both fronts, to sit and watch and then afterwards go and talk with these folks.
Yeah.
So that's about all I have for the weekend.
Very cool.
That is cool. I am a little jealous.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you saved big bucks too.
Well, I'm sure.
See, this is what we feel like when you go and get a life on us too. Now you know how we feel.
I would say in general, Les does it more than I do.
Yeah, especially with movies.
He's one of those weird people who doesn't mind other people. It's very strange. I don't understand it, but I just sort of go with it.
Never met a stranger?
I've met a lot. Everybody I've met is a stranger. Are you kidding me?
No, I meant Les.
They don't get no stranger than me, though. All right,
okay.
Tom, so what's your Bruce Campbell story?
I don't have one.
Oh, man.
What?
You clearly didn't get the memo.
Oh, well. All right. We ready for the lowlights? Here we go. You probably heard me screaming. I should stop watching these because they're starting to get to the point where they're irritating the fuck out of me.
Yeah, that's probably a good time to stop.
There's two I wanted to mention. One was police go to the bar because there's reports of a woman attacking a man and a female bartender, and she's screaming, "That's my husband. He's cheating on me. He's cheating on me. He's cheating on me." So they get her back to the vehicle, and they start talking to the husband. He says, "Well, she kicked me out 2 or 3 months ago, a couple months ago. Were y'all gonna get a divorce?" He says, "Yeah, as soon as she signs the paperwork." And her story is she showed up there not realizing they were going to be there. Like, she's a bartender. That's her place of employment. You didn't think she was going to be there? Yeah. You're full of shit. So, and then she's, we're going to get you for I forgot what they call it. It's different from there because this was in New Mexico. I'm not gonna say the town, but it's small enough that there's only like 1 or 2 bars. So I mean, it's not. She did it on purpose for domestic violence. So it's just, but he doesn't live with me. It's like, it doesn't matter. Y'all are still married, so that's still domestic violence. And then resisting. Then she starts calling me, and my best friend's going to bury her father tomorrow, and I'm not going to be there because of this. It's like, well, you know what? You probably shouldn't beat up people the night before for a funeral that you need to be there. Yeah. That's.
Should have thought about that sooner.
It's like, I'm going to lose everything, and he's just an asshole and all that. I'm like, he didn't. All he's done is apparently move on, which you haven't done. So whose fault is that?
Yeah.
Now, in her defense, could the relationship have started before he was kicked out of the house? Maybe, maybe not. We'll never know. But still, the fact that she showed up there and is surprised that they're there. And decides to beat the crap out of them. That's, I'm sorry. Just not buying it.
You're maybe so he isn't cynical. Gosh.
He may be an asshole, but he didn't.
He may not be the only asshole in the room.
He may not be the only asshole in the family. Yes. He didn't even want to press charges because he's like, that's going to cost money. Like, you don't have to press charges because it's domestic violence, so the state's going to do it anyway. So don't worry about it. It's all right. Mm-hmm. No, the one that really got me is this one. Okay. There's a call about a man barricading himself in a house after battering a family member, which we later, through conversations, it sounds like it was his daughter. So 8 to 10 officers showed up, and there's a standoff, and some of the officers are equipped with higher powered weaponry. We'll just say that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to figure out what's going on and all that. And Gladys Kravitz comes around. If anyone gets the Bewitched reference. We're focused on this one officer, and then you hear a neighbor say, "Anna, get back over here." He turns around. There's literally a woman standing right next to him. What's going on? It's like, ma'am, if you go back over to the sidewalk, I'll tell it to you. Meanwhile, one of her neighbors coming and is pushing her back, and you're going to get in trouble. Leave them alone. She keeps doing it. She keeps coming over. And he got to a point where he arrested her. They're like, what? I didn't do nothing wrong. I didn't do nothing wrong. God. Just let me go. I've got kids. My son is autistic and has Down syndrome. I'm like, and you're caring more about what the hell's going on across the street than in your house. Okay. It got to a point that they had to put her in a wrap.
Oh man!
And if you're not familiar, if you're not aware of what a wrap is, the officer compared it to, he says essentially it's a human taco. They literally restrict a person's movements, the legs, arms, and everything.
Yeah.
Even put like the helmet that like the boxers wear, so they can kind of limit any kind of head damage and trauma.
Yeah.
They put that on there so they can't bash their brains into the window or the divider.
Damn.
And she's fake crying. It's like, I did nothing wrong. Y'all hate me. Everybody in my life hates me. I'm like, I've been watching this for 30 seconds and I hate you too.
Yeah.
And then, so they try to get her. So, like I said, there's like 8 to 10 officers. There's half of them dealing with her, trying to get her in this damn thing. Because it takes about 4 or 5 officers to do it. Between restraining them and then getting everything fastened and all that. It takes a little work. And they get her up and she's screaming, "Oh, my arm hurts, my arm hurts." And like, well, can you walk over? Can you walk over to the car? No, I can't. I hurt. Where do you hurt? My arm. Like, what? Are you going to do a headstand and walk over?
Right.
What the fuck? What the hell does your arm hurting mean you can't walk? What the? Like I said, so yeah, she, so they got her, she was arrested for obstruction and resistance. And then, meanwhile, over here, they got the guy who was barricaded in his house, who actually came out. It seemed like it went a lot easier than the freaking woman. Oh, God. Y'all hate me. Everybody hates me. It's like, yeah, gee, I can't figure out why. It's totally lost on me.
Damn.
Oh, so aggravating. It's like, you don't need to know what's going on. Or if you want to know, wait till everything's over. Then ask. That way you're not possibly in the way. Because what if the dude in the house has a gun? Just starts trying to take pot shots at all officers, and you're staying there. like I said, I probably need to stop watching because
can't fix stupid.
Yeah. Can't.
I'm more sympathetic for the ones that have mental health issues because there's nothing they can do about it. You're stupid, you're stupid. That's on you.
Yeah.
Drunk, that's once again, that's on you. I mean, granted, there's alcoholics and there's that is a disease, but there's help out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, on that cheery note, why don't we take a quick break? And we'll be back with this week's discussion. Welcome back, and let's go ahead and get into this week's discussion. 2025 marks the 60th anniversary of a series that not a lot of people know much about. It's a series called Thunder Agents. And Thunder stands for, what was it again? Hang on.
The Higher United Nations Defense Enforcement Reserves.
There you go. This was co-created by Wally Wood and Lynn Brown. This was a Tower Comics. It was a group of superheroes who work for the United Nations, obviously. And they had spin-offs from some of the other characters from the team, like Dynamo and No Man. I don't remember who else got one, but anyway, it was kind of trying to catch, inspired by the spy movie craze that was going on during the 60s. So let's talk a little bit about this book. Like I said, I don't know much about it. I've seen some of the stuff. I think I have some of the JC books from the 80s that I got from my uncle's collection. And I know the most recent series was from IDW, but that was probably about 10 years ago, something like that. And it didn't seem like it was very consistent. So let's talk a little Thunder Agents. And that's us talking about Thunder Agents.
Thank you and good night.
I was about to jump in. Jeez. Yeah, I never heard of this before it showed up on the schedule. So I'm learning here.
Yeah.
But I was actually surprised at how little I could find online about it. But fortunately, I did actually manage to find legally questionable copies of it online.
Yeah.
And so I read a couple of issues. I thought it was really interesting. I mean, it's not like trailblazing or anything, but
right.
Some of the backstories that they've come up with for some of these characters is a little different. They're generally speaking, the superhero group, their stuff is mostly technology based. So there's lots of scientists and stuff.
Right.
And it seems like the main bad guy is kind of a mad scientist too. So it's kind of like to feed on your reference, kind of a cross between a mad scientist and a Bond villain.
Right.
So there's that. He's got some interesting henchmen working for him too. But, And then there's the other team, the normie team, the Thunder Squad.
Right.
Which is almost kind of a Doc Savage-esque group of sidekicks. Bunch of highly competent people in specific fields and all of that. But yeah, and I mean it's mostly just fighting, but it does pretty well at it, and the art's interesting. Not surprisingly.
That's Wally Wood for you, man.
Yeah, there's some good stuff in there. There's some interesting technological stuff, I thought, in the art.
Mm-hmm. And it, I mentioned about them being part of United Nations, and it's kind of interesting that they jumped on that back then, because that's not something that's picked up for any other superhero groups until another 20 years or so. Avengers would at one point become, I think they became part of United Nations, and then of course we got the Justice League International. They did that as well, but Thunder Age is 20 years earlier.
There you go.
So it's a little trailblazing.
I guess it made more sense than attaching it directly to the U.S. government, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess that seemed like it was aiming low or something.
To me, the characters were extremely interesting. And to go through their list, I remember picking up an issue of this back in the day, back when it first opened. And I was really impressed with things like No Man and Dynamo. They were just something I hadn't seen before. And to have Brown and Wally Wood do these was interesting, because they took a different look at everything. And it wasn't just, let's fly and beat somebody up. There was some thought to the process, what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, it only lasted, 20 issues originally, under Tower. And as a result, it really didn't get much, like you say, Mike, it didn't get much thunderous applause or appreciation at the time. But we have also seen other comics that have gone by the wayside, other comic companies go by the wayside. And it's, to me, it was one of those things that could have sprung a lot easier, a lot faster. If I recall, Tower Comics, did they do Herbie?
They may have. I'm not recalling right now. Let me see.
No, it doesn't look like they did.
Okay.
No. They did Tippy Keen, Fight the Enemy, Dynamo, No Man, Mentor, and the Terrific Trio.
And if I recall, Thomas and I both got copies of Undersea Agent.
Mm-hmm.
That was a collected hardback we got?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Like I said, it's sad that they didn't expand much. They had 11 main characters, which wasn't bad. And I do not recall probably 80% of these.
Yeah.
So, to me it was just sad that they didn't get done or brought forward.
Right.
I do remember Justice Machine, which was put out by Texas Comics in 83, and that was when the Thunder Agents appeared in that issue. And I think I still got that around here somewhere. To me, it would be one of those titles that I would like to see come back.
I'm just surprised that, the last time anyone picked up the property and tried to do it was IDW, and it seemed like nobody really jumped on board.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds
like DC had it for a little bit too and never did anything but statues with it.
No, that's true.
Well, DC kind of did that from time to time, because I remember them picking up the heroes from Archie's, and they created the Impact line, which was, some of those were really fun stories.
Yes,
but they only lasted a couple of years and then they were gone again.
See, I don't know a lot about the comics, but from what I was able to find on this one, it kind of reminded me of like Lady Death, who had a comic line that was doing her, and then she kind of got passed around a little bit. And in the process, we kind of lost her, if that makes sense. Well, not that they're any kind of similar comics at all, other than being passed through small hands.
Right.
But then it sounds like one of his friends tried to take it, and it was tied up in litigation for a while, too. And that's when Wally World's Thunder Agents, and damn, the names on it, George Perez, David Cockrum, Keith Griffin, Murphy Anderson, and Jerry Ordway. That's some pretty big names,
Mm-hmm. Those are some legends.
Mm-hmm. Well, heck, it even said that when Tower Comics was doing it, they had covers by Steve Ditko and Bob Layton. So it's had some pretty big names touch it, I'm surprised it didn't do more. But like I said, I think it passing to these smaller guys is how it got lost. It looked like then they had a deal with Penthouse Comics and Omni Comics and Texas Comics, and, so it kind of sounds like it just kind of here and there. And
well, it was trying to fight for space amongst DC and Marvel, and at that time would be Charlton and Gold Key.
Mm-hmm. And during this time period too, in the 80s, in the area I was in, we didn't have a lot of comic book stores. We had to get whatever the newsstand, I say newsstand, it was a magazine rack, usually in the drugstore.
Mm-hmm.
You pretty much had to get what they were going to put out there, and they weren't picking up titles from Tower Comics or, they were picking up the bigger names because they knew they could sell it, along with Cosmo and Tiger Beat. Don't laugh. It was cool back then.
Oh, in the 80s? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them were.
So.
We're still laughing, of course, but,
I think that's how also, for me, that's how I missed this one completely.
What, Davy Jones wasn't on the cover? Is that what you're telling me?
It wasn't, I like Davy Jones, though.
I was going to say that was back in the 60s, but then there was the Monkees resurgence in the 80s, so,
in the 80s, yeah.
He might have been on Tiger Beat again, who knew?
Yep. MTV had him on, they did.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Anything playing there was a magazine for it.
Walking down the street.
We get the funniest looks from everyone we meet.
Hey, we're the Monkees.
Oh, this line she knows.
I know like every line to the Monkees.
Like I said,
me and my best friend were like 80s. Monkey-ettes.
I mean, that's honestly
where they called them.
I mean, I had heard of the Monkees before, but that's where I got kind of into them. Was when when MTV started showing episodes of the series on MTV. It was.
And it came on right after school, so it was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I didn't know who they were before then. My mom wasn't a Beatles or a Monkees fan. She was a Herman and the Hermits fan, so.
I'm at a radiate,
I am.
And radiate, I am. I got married to the widow next door. She's been married 7 times before, and everyone was an Henry.
She wouldn't have a Willie or
Sam.
I'm a right old man on
Henry.
And radiate, I am.
Second verse, silence the first time, and radiate. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Didn't see this episode going this way, did we?
The sing-along episode.
Ooh. Nobody expected again.
Oh, man.
Like I said before, I think this would be a title similar to some of the Atlas titles. This would be a title I'd like to see revived.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take it and see what happens.
It would be fun to see this updated a little bit, maybe modernized a bit, and or you could do it go the other way. You could just do it as a period thing. Do it. Oh, back in the '60s, there was stuff happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well, they call this post-Silver Age. And, we always get the Silver Age characters. Maybe that's another thing. They just need to go back and get some of these that they've neglected for so long. Even just to collect them. I'm sure whoever, IDW or whoever owns it now wouldn't charge you much to, make a story in a collected series or something.
Right.
Yeah, I tried to look to see who has the rights of it right now, but I couldn't find anything.
Wikipedia's saying as of right now it's licensed to IDW.
Well, Wikipedia is saying as of 2012 it was licensed to IDW.
Was it?
Who knows? I
mean,
that's a lot of years at this point. Anything could have happened.
Yeah.
True.
Well, and IDW's had some issues the last few years. No pun intended.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah.
Well, it does say that, the rights went to IDW, and it states this publication lasted 8 issues.
So they published something.
Yeah, somewhere in the 2000s, they did publish this comic book.
See, I didn't see that about the 8 issues.
To me, it was fun because this was all new to me. These are new characters, and they had different powers. They had powers similar to the crime fighters that had already been established. So to me, it was having something new and different was something I was looking for all the time.
Yeah, it wasn't a like you can read and go, okay, well this is obviously a rip off or a take off of this character. These were original, even if the power sets may seem similar, but they weren't.
Well, it seems to me almost maybe kind of a tribute to the pulp heroes to a certain extent.
True.
I mean, you get someone like was it Mentor?
Yeah.
Was the one with the mental powers?
Helmet.
Yeah, he had the helmet and had mental powers. I mean, kind of. If you hold your nose just right, it kind of looks like the Shadow a little bit. You get big, strong guy. I mean, with maybe a little bit of Doc Savage in there.
Mm-hmm.
No Man is kind of, if there's one he's referring to, I'm not sure I'm familiar with it, but it's still a fun idea.
Yeah.
And there's like a touch of, I hesitate to use the word reality in it, but I mean they're realistic. Some of these characters are more realistic than you'd expect.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a little further along, you get Lightning, who's got a suit that he wears, but it's also aging him. I mean, and honestly, Dynamo with his belt could only keep it up for a little while. So there are limits to these powers. They're great and awesome powers, but there are limits, and I mean that's different. That's not Superman, you know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a fun little take.
I just thought that Dynamo would lose his belt when his pants fell down, but I was wrong.
That's funny because in the first issue he makes that joke himself because he does have it taken from him. And they're like, what does the belt do? Well, duh, it holds my pants up. What are you talking about? So it was an inevitable joke.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Now, personally, like I said, I would like to see this come back.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that there are collections. That's, ultimate for you. And they've got how many, 7 archive editions and 6 Thunder Agent Classics, which are the same issues that you find in the archive. So, to me, the Wally Wood was tops. That guy could do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen him do superheroes. You've seen him do space comics, horror comics. The guy was somebody that was in comics. He was a Renaissance man. He was able to do anything.
Yep. You do it all and do it all well.
True.
Well, yeah, I agree. I would love to see them bring the concept back, and the more I think about it, I would definitely like to see it as a period thing, a 60s kind of Cold War type of environment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Try to.
I mean, today would be fine too, but I think it would work a lot more back then because it's true things were.
Right, and you could still capitalize on that spy thing that's going on, that whole Bond flavor, motif, whatever you want to call it. That there were so many ripoffs.
Oh, so
many.
My name is Mo. Dynamo.
Okay.
Wow. Maybe not quite so hard a ripoff, but anyway.
All right. On that tragic note, I think we're going to go ahead and take a break and come back with geek news for you. And we're back. It's time for geek news for you. In this segment, we bring a couple of news items to the table for discussion. And this week, it is Les and myself. And Les, would you go first, please, sir?
Yes, sir. What I want to talk about is The Unbreakable Boy, which comes out just the week of the issuance of this episode. This intrigued me from the word go. It's based on a true story and stars Zachary Levi and Jacob LaValle. Levi, you know, from the TV show Chuck or from the Shazam movies. Mm-hmm. And Jacob Levi is a fairly new kid to break into movies. It studies a boy who is born with autism and congenital brittle bone syndrome. Mm-hmm. And just to see the preview of it was enough to get me to want to go see this, just to see how they handle some of the problems that the parents of this child have. The parents have two sons, and one is Austin, the young boy that has the brittle bone and is autistic. But Austin is somewhat outgoing. He wants everybody to know who he is. He wants everybody to like him. Yet the boy still has problems with what he is facing. So I'm looking forward to this. I hope you folks have seen this ad, because to me it's amazing. I highly recommend it, and like I said, I want to see it when it happens. So that's essentially what I'm doing. It's based on a well, I was going to say a book, but I guess not. It was just, to me, it was just something that will make you laugh, make you cry type situation. Once again, I do recommend it.
That does sound really cute.
Sounds nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, cool. For my news item, in another coup for Skybound, who have the G.I. Joe and Transformer license, Scott Dunbar is bringing his artist editions to them under his new company, Act 4. And man, he's bringing the artist edition, and he's created a new line called the Connoisseur Edition, which is going to be something similar, except for it's going to be in a slipcase format. The first item is going to be coming out, which I want to order as soon as possible. It's the Artist Edition Jim Apato's DC Classics.
Oh, really?
Which is going to include Batman and Spectre.
Ah, yeah. That would be fun.
And the first in the Connoisseur Edition, I think all of us would be interested in. Are y'all ready for this?
Bum, bum, bum.
Wow.
Hey, it's the sing-along episode. I had to.
Did you really?
How about Darwin Cook's The Complete Spirit?
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Yes. Future releases will include J. Scott Campbell's Danger Girl Artist Edition, Dave Stevens Covers and Stories Connoisseur Edition, Jason Pearson's Body Bags Artist Edition, Paul Smith's Leave It to Chance Artist Edition, and EC Comics Artist Editions.
Oh, wow.
Was Leave It to Chance the young girl that was kind of a detective?
I believe so, yes.
To me, that was a fun read.
I don't see a week one in any of this. That's what I just listed. I'm excited about all of that. And if you're not familiar with what Artist Edition is what they would do is they would access the original artwork for the issues, scan them in, and then put it in a hardback collection. So it's the original art. It's like 11 by 18, I believe. I'm not sure about the dimensions right now. But I mean, it's everything, including where you can see where maybe they taped, that maybe did some penciling and then erasing and that kind of stuff. It's really, really cool to see. I've got a couple of these. The first one I bought was Jack Kirby's Commandy, and I'm sure Les remembers because I had to get it when I saw that they announced it, and just open up the first couple pages, and if the first issue, you got the splash page, and you turn the page, and then it's a 2-page fold, and you have Commandy in this little lifeboat, and it's New York that's just overridden by water, and I mean you see the Statue of Liberty and all that. This is a 2-page thing, and you're seeing this in 11 by 18. It is fucking impressive. It's so beautiful. So I'm excited about this, especially now that the first one they're doing is Aparo. Because when I visualize Batman as a comic book character, it's his version. I know there are some that would think of Neil Adams, or they may think of Carmen Infantino, or whoever. But for me, it's Aparo. Right down to the square jaw and everything.
And what is Campbell doing on these?
I'm sorry?
What is James Scott Campbell doing on these?
They're doing his Danger Girl series.
I'd like to get that.
Yeah, I wish that he would have finished all that too, but unfortunately not.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So very, very, very excited about this.
It does sound pretty cool.
Bye-bye money.
Pretty much.
Right out the window.
Pretty much. All right. Any special shout-outs or mentions this week?
No, don't think so.
No. Happy Valentine's Day.
Last week.
Yeah, we did that last week. Because this will drop after
late.
Valentine's Day. Yeah, there's nothing new there, really. But anyway.
Wow.
Zing.
Can you feel the love tonight?
Hey, soon.
Nope.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into our regular shout-outs then. I want to thank Pop Goes to Culture for allowing us to be part of a great group of network of podcasters. Definitely check them out. There will be a link in our show notes. We also recommend that you check out the fine men and women who are kind enough to spread the word of the fellowship on Twitter or X, however you want to call it, by reposting our links. And that group is known as Podern Family. Best way to locate them is do a search, hashtag Podern Family, all one word. Just scroll through, and whatever catches your eye, by all means, click on that link and download the episode, and we hope you have a great time listening to them. I want to thank Manny the Martyr for supplying me music to the podcast. In our show notes will be a link where you can check out their other music. And finally, you, dear listener, thank you for downloading and listening to today's episode. And any feedback would be much appreciated. You can send email to email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net, or you can go to the website, go to the About Us page, and there's a contact form you can fill out there. On the website, there is also a open invitation on our homepage to join our Discord. Discord's free to sign up, and the apps are free in the app stores. We'll post a lot of news items, stuff to discuss, some of the things to laugh at. We'll post some of the trailers. We'll have some fun activities, that kind of stuff. So if you want to come hang out with us, by all means, come join us. We do have a section specifically for feedback, so you can post your thoughts there.
It's called the trash. I'm kidding.
Wow. Circular file.
I'm kidding. We
No,
love
you're
you.
not.
File 13, that's what it's called.
It's called From Lizfield. That's what it's called. Social media. We're on Facebook, The Fellowship of the Geeks. On Instagram, Twitter, and Blue Sky. We are at Fellowship Geeks. If you like to follow our personal Twitter accounts, Mike can be found at Mikey Geek. Liz can be found at LN_Geek. Les may or may not be found at Fake Les Webster. And I can be found at TomTC Geek. And from wherever you download our episodes, if you'd be so kind enough as to rate and review the show, it would be greatly appreciated. Anything else before we say goodbye?
Just thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate you listening.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We appreciate your support as always. Until next time, geek on, my friends.
We thank you for listening to the show. Comments, suggestions, and questions can be sent to email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. You can follow us on Facebook at The Fellowship of the Geeks and on Twitter at Fellowship Geeks. Until next time,